Long time to wait, 21 years. Jamie Wall's there at Eden Park. He works for RNZ now. Trusted, most respected independent sports journalist in the country, in my opinion. Jamie, this is really unusual what happened, getting the media invited into the dressing room. The stuff you posted was really excellent, said an awful lot. Very, very privileged to be in that position, to be that close.
Yeah. So after the Blues win on Saturday night, we had the post-match press conference downstairs as per usual, which was captains and coaches, and it went along pretty normally. Obviously, a bit of dejection from the Chiefs, as you could imagine, and some jubilation from more relief, really, I think, from Vern Cotter and Patrick Tuipulotu. I think Patrick Tuipulotu was just happy his leg hadn't fallen off, and Vern Cotter was his usual laconic self. And then we got a call saying, "Hey, come on down the tunnel. The boys would like to see you." And
wow!
We walked
hang on a second. Hang on. This is a New Zealand rugby team inviting the media into their dressing room.
Yeah, it was their idea.
Is that a first?
So it's a first for me. It certainly is a first for me. The last time I tried to go into a dressing room after a team had won a Super Rugby title, I got told to F off by a senior All Black. So it was quite a nice feeling being able to go down into the Blues changing room. I'm not sure whether Eden Park had contrived this themselves or whether the Blues had actually set this up, but they'd set up a whole bunch of lights in there, and the whole place just kind of felt like a bit of a nightclub kind of feel. They had the music pumping, had a big spread out, the beers were flowing, and yeah, obviously everyone was in a great mood. Like I said, the players seemed to be quite happy to see us. They're quite keen to have a chat. It was cool just being able to walk around like you would in an American sports post-match setup, where you just wander up to the players just sitting in their little cubicles and just have a word. Obviously everyone was very, very happy to chat, and it was great. Got some really good content, really good footage, and I hope it's something that we get to do again in the future. Obviously not expecting to be led into the All Blacks after every single match that they play. I don't think I'd really want to do that, but just to be part of a special occasion like that did make for some awesome content, and I think it's really helped because that footage has got out there and people have seen just how much it meant to the team, and I think that their fans really appreciate seeing that.
Obviously, it's a lot easier when the team wins. If they hadn't have won, I don't know whether you would have got the invite, and that's understandable as well. A couple of questions. Rico Ioane saying that that this is bigger or better or whatever it was that his words were than a World Cup final, and I've noticed a lot of people have snidely commented, well, you wouldn't know what winning a World Cup final is. He got bloody close. And the euphoria after a match like that, I can understand a guy saying that. I mean, he's around his mates. They're together a hell of a lot longer than the All Blacks are, except when you go to a World Cup. He's got his brother there playing his last match and what that meant to him. And there's just a real human side to that guy that I haven't actually seen before. Had you?
Oh, I've seen enough of Rico to know. I mean, I like the guy. I like his honesty. He's always been a pretty honest, straight up and down guy. He's often subject of a bit of discussion around his place in the team and everything like that. And but yeah, I mean, I know enough about him now to know that I wasn't surprised really by what he said. He's very, very loyal to his hometown, to his club. He's always down. Him and his brother are always part of the Ponsonby club where they grew up. They basically grew up in that club rooms. They grew up around Eden Park. They've been representing Auckland for as long as they, have been playing senior rugby, basically. And they are just they absolutely love the Blues. They love being part of the Blues setup, and it's a part of that team that I don't think enough people have seen. Just how much the players care about representing that side, and for him to say that, yeah, like I said, I wasn't really surprised. It also, you got to remember when he started, him and his brother started in that team. It was a tough time for the Blues. They were basically where the Highlanders kind of are now, in terms of how is anything possibly going to change the fortunes of this team? Where are they going to get players from? Where are they going to get a first five? Who's going to coach them going forward? And it's taken till now for them to actually realise their potential, because really the side should be good every year. and they've done it. And for him to say that just reflected just how much of a long journey it's been. Because if you think about a World Cup, the All Blacks basically have the expectation that they're going to win it every single time. Hasn't been like that for the Blues. It's fresh in his mind about how hard it was at the start when they would have been completely written off at the start of every season. So nice to hear that. And he was just stoked to see us and be in there. His brother as well was happy to give interviews. He hasn't always been great with the media, Akira, but he was keen as to have a chat, and yeah, it was just a cool experience to be in there with him.
Devlin.
Oh my goodness me!
The platform.
Christy Doran, the Raw, out of Brisbane, joins us. The best team won, mate. Are you happy with that?
Very happy, Marty. Not so happy because I'm an Australian and I've had to watch another New Zealand derby, but let me tell you that it was absolutely the best side, very well coached, brought a new style of rugby, new brand of rugby, and very much a Northern Hemisphere brand, well played, first one in 21 years. It wasn't necessarily the best final to watch from a viewing perspective and neutral perspective, but worthy winners for sure.
What do you like about them and the way that they've played when you say a new style?
Well, look, I think we've seen, and certainly from this side of the ditch, just I would say a lacklustre, but a really poor forward approach. And we celebrate rugby for being a game of all shapes and sizes, but in recent years, and I know the Crusaders have very much an all-court game, but I think the Blues, just their ability to get into the 22 and then just steamroll through oppositions, just relentless pressure, I think it's almost refreshing. And without a South African influence where, the physical nature of what they brought to the game, the Blues have almost turned to South Africa for a bit of a blueprint, but brought it to New Zealand, and it's refreshing because we've been missing the South Africans from Super Rugby since 2020, haven't we?
Look, I'm sitting here nodding my head to all of this, and talking to Jamie Wall earlier, who was there, and obviously and had just produced some fantastic footage from on the field and in the dressing room and things like that. It was just. It's the Vern Cotter thing, isn't it? All of us have noticed this more than anything else. It's a Blues side that has been without frills. And you kind of wonder why it's taken so long for somebody, and it had to bring somebody in from outside to actually recognise this and actually make the changes necessary.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. And yes, someone from outside, but someone with New Zealand roots, hasn't he, with Vern Cotter, and spent so much time up in the north. And if you think about other New Zealand coaches back in the day, Graham Henry, Steve Hansen, didn't they spend a lot of time up in the Northern Hemisphere as well? And then they brought it back. So I just wonder, even Scott Robertson spent time in France before coming back to the Crusaders. And we're often in Australia encouraging coaches to get a wider, broader experience. And I think that's what Vern Cotter's done. And he just hit the ground running, and to be able to influence players like Akira Ioane, Hoskins Tutus, and let's be honest, in previous years, big physical bullies, but they really didn't. And when the going got tough, they probably shirked some of that tough stuff, and this year they didn't. They were superb, and Tutu, if he's not your number 8, it'd be very surprising for the All Blacks. But really nice balance with guys like Dalton Papali'i. Such an understated 10, almost the perfect 10 for that side, and Harry Plummer. He wasn't necessarily going to be breaking the line all the time, but he's distributing, he pulled the trigger at the right time, and then a perfect evening from the boot. Aiden Park in the wet, so fair play to them all.